everyone, welcome to the latest episode of Legends of the Spire. Dave here. Now on the podcast this week we have Peter Leven. Now he was with us in the 2007-2008 season, playing with his good mate Jamie Winter under Lee Richardson, and we just missed out on the playoffs that season, but he became a real fan favourite pretty quickly and even took the captain's armband during the time while he was here. He then moved on to MK Dons and Oxford before injury cut short his career, but then moved on into coaching, and he's had both a spell at Dynamo Brest in Belarus, where he won the title and took them into Europe, and is now at FC Orenburg in Russia. So it was really interesting doing a Zoom to someone direct to Russia. Good fun, and such a massive country. It's amazing to hear about some of the away trips that they have over there. As always, we are at Spire Legends on Twitter and Legends of the Spire on Facebook, so do get in touch, and hopefully we can have Jamie Winter and Peter Leven on a podcast together at some point, because I think they are a real double act in waiting. So I hope you enjoy this latest episode of Legends of the Spire with Peter Leven.
Legends of the Spire.
What should we say as a greeting? It's not dos Vidania or...
No, Privyet.
Privyet.
Privyet. This Vidania's goodbye.
Oh, there you go. So like what, 2,500 miles away, something like that, is it?
Oh, I don't know, mate. Honestly, sometimes I think to myself, Peter, where are you? You know what I mean? I thought Chesterfield was far, do you know what I mean, leaving Glasgow. My days, man. People say, Peter, where are you? I'm in Russia. Oh, whereabouts? Well, it's like a 2.5 flight from Moscow. They're like, where? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah.
It's a huge country, isn't it? It's massive.
Mate, it's incredible, mate. Honestly, God, like the travelling, every away match is nearly 2 flights. So it's either Orenburg, you need to fly to Moscow, and then Moscow you fly to whatever city you're going to.
Yeah. So there's no like on the day 9 o'clock coach.
Nah, never, mate. Yeah, was it? I was talking to someone recently. I used to think when obviously I was at Kilmarnock, Ross County away was bad, 3.5 hours on a bus.
Yeah.
But there was a game last season. I've got them again this season. Habarovsk away, and it was a 2.5 hour flight from Orenburg to Moscow, and then it was I think a 4-hour connection time, and then it was 8 hours to Habarovsk. Mate, I'm near like China. You're right in the other side of the country. Honest to God, mate.
You don't want to let in a goal after a couple of minutes, do you? Once you've done that.
Well, that's the thing. The home form that team's home form is incredible because everybody's tired because it's the time difference, it's the travelling. It takes everybody at least 30 minutes to get going.
It makes the trip to Yeovil look like a local derby.
Give me Yeovil and Ross County away any day, mate.
But thanks for coming on. We had a good chat to your mate Jamie Winter in a previous podcast.
Yeah,
it was very amusing. He had lots of insights into Lee Richardson and things like that, which I'm sure you can add a few bits to. But if we start at the beginning, like with your youth career, because you're kind of a Glasgow boy, aren't you? And you're a Rangers fan.
Yep, I grew up across the street from a stadium. I used to love 19 up. We used to watch the training because there was the Ibrox Stadium's there, and there was like an AstroTurf pitch next to it. And I used to watch training, and eventually, obviously, they picked me up and I started training with the team. And then it got to a stage where I think I was 14, 15, and I had a few clubs offer me contracts. And the one down south that really stood out was Man City. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Man City are not we weren't the Man City they were now. Oh yeah, at the Championship, and they were offering a good contract. But as a Rangers fan, season ticket holder, it made sense just to go to Rangers, my boyhood club, you know. So I signed there. I think I left school on my 16th birthday. I think I remember the assistant head teacher calling me in and says, I've had Rangers on the phone. Obviously, I've had a chat with them, and to go full time, I says, I've had the contract offer. And he's like, I would advise you to go and play football. I was like, right, okay, back. And that was me, left school, 16. I was away.
I imagine careers teacher, they get 1 in a million where when they go, I want to be a footballer, where they actually manage to do it.
To be fair, the assistant head teacher of the school, Brian McAlinden, he was a youth coach at Rangers in the academy, so he kind of knew. Obviously, I didn't know if I was good or not. You know, you're young, but he obviously might have known a bit as a coach that he might have a chance. So he kind of said, "Listen, go and chase your dream," kind of thing.
Were you always a midfielder? Because usually kids, when they're good at school, are in centre midfield, aren't they, where the action is?
Yeah, I was always in midfield. I remember when I was younger playing like under 10s and stuff, and it was 11v11. Now the kids younger, they play 5v5 and 7v7, the smaller goals, and I always had a good left foot. So I used to just shoot from anywhere, and I used to score something like 6-7 goals a game because the goals were tiny and the goals were huge. And my dad always said to me, "Just shoot like you're hitting a corner." I used to shoot and I used to score loads of goals. So yeah, I was always in centre midfield. Yeah,
it's interesting as well because I had a chat with Mark Innes, a fellow countryman of yours who also played for Chesterfield.
Yeah,
and he was a good left footer, and we were talking about the pros and cons of being left footed, because the con is that if the left midfielder gets injured, you have to fill in on the left. If the left back gets injured, you fill in at left back, and then you might then lose your slot in centre midfield. So it's kind of a help and a hindrance, isn't it, being left footed?
That was one of the reasons I left Kilmarnock. Because yes, I played a lot of games in centre midfield, but as you said, sometimes you put left midfield and left back, and I hated it, and I didn't enjoy my football, and I just said, "Nah, that's not me." Yes, I'll do a job for the team now and then, but I just don't want to play there.
Yeah.
So
because you ended up at Kilmarnock, didn't you? After you were at Rangers for like a good 4 years or something, weren't you? But you had injury, didn't you, at Rangers?
Yeah, 2021. I was doing okay. I was doing well. You know, I was on the bench training the first team at 16. I was tagged in next Barry Ferguson kind of thing coming through. And then obviously had the knee injury, which at the time you don't understand how bad it is, you know, playing a pre-season friendly against Tranmere. I think a few months before, I was on the bench for the Old Firm game in front of 52,000, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, wow, this is... And Dick Advocat loved me at the time, the Dutch manager. And then it was the next season, I was playing with this reserve team and the boy stood in the back of my knee and I had a crack. And at first I thought I'd broke my leg because I had the crack and I didn't want to look. And I looked and my leg seemed all right. Then I thought I must have been my shin guard that cracked. But then obviously the scans and everything like that was obviously my ACL, a cruciate ligament that had snapped, and I heard that. Oh, what pain I was in. Honestly, my knee went up in a balloon. I went down to London to get surgery, and he's like, Dr. Browett. And I think he says, I think you should think of another career. Wow, football's my life, you know what I mean? I don't have any education or qualifications from school. I need to play football. So it kind of made me more determined to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
And to get back playing.
I suppose it's an unhealthy attitude to have, but do you ever look back and think what might have been if that injury hadn't have happened? Every
day, mate. Every day. I remember Ian Durant, when I went to Kilmarnock. Obviously, I knew Ian Durant from a young age, ex-Rangers player, Scotland player. He used to call me what could have been. And that always sticks in my mind. I'm thinking, what could have been? You know what I mean? And he always used to call me that, what could have been, Peter. But you know what? I could have easily retired. I could have been mentally weak. The knee could have been worse. Do you know what I mean? So I just got to take the positives that I played professional football. Not many people can say that, but I do sit back sometimes and think, I could have went higher, top.
As Chesterfield as a club, we probably get quite a lot of those players, just because of this. I suppose the level Chesterfield are at. Sometimes clubs can get those players, can't they? That.
Do you know what? It's Chesterfield was a great time for me. They gave me the opportunity to play in England. You know, me and Jamie always speak about it. Love the club, love the city, everything about it. And yes, there was some fantastic players there who will do well at Chesterfield and will move on. You know, because there's bigger clubs and more money out there that will take the best players from Chesterfield. But my time at Chesterfield, I loved it, mate. I loved it.
Yeah, and you came to us after, so you had like about 3 seasons at Kilmarnock, something like that.
3 seasons, yeah. It was, I think one of my last games was cup final at Hampden against Hibs. We lost 5-1. And they offered me a new contract. And I just didn't like them. At the time as a player, I didn't like the manager. I didn't like his ideas, how he wanted to play football. As a coach, I kind of see a different side of it now. But as a player, I just didn't think he got the best out of me. Like as you say, playing me a left midfield, left back. He never gave me that freedom to play. I would try things in a match. They would go crazier and play simple. I'm thinking, but I can see a through a ball, or I can chip the goalkeeper. Or I just wanted that freedom to play, you know. And I didn't think he gave me that. And they offered me a new contract, to be fair. But I just had a desire to play in England. I always wanted to. If I have something in my head, I'll do it. Like the situation I'm in now. I don't want to get older and go, why didn't you try it, Peter? If it failed, it failed. You can always say I tried.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I came down to Chesterfield. When was it? 2007.
Yeah, 2007. Yeah.
So I'll go back a little bit. When I done my knee injury, I was going to go out on loan stroke permanent move from Rangers. I had enough of Rangers because my head was gone. 2 years. I wanted a fresh start. I went down to Rotherham on like a 2-week training trial, and the reserve team coach then was Alan Hill, and seemed to love me straight away. And then the club asked me to stay for another week or two, and I was like, I've been here for 2 weeks. You must know already, kind of thing. Young, cheeky. No, you must know already. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm back up the road and signed for Kilmarnock. But then I went down to Chesterfield, played a game. I think it was against Matlock.
Yeah, we were playing Matlock every season.
Yeah. So it was like the training on the Tuesday, and I think they were playing on the Thursday. And I've introduced everybody in, and I recognise Alan Hill straight away because he's 6'5", red hair, beanpole. Thinking that's how I know him. And then we're doing a rondo, like a possession, and then he just looks at me during the warm up, goes, Rotherham? I'm like, yep. He obviously just clicked in his head and stopped the training. It's like, and then we played the game. And to be fair, the budget was gone at the time because it was late in the window when I made a decision where to go or what I was going to do. You know, me, agents to do my nothing, mate, but trying to do this, and it was getting late in the window, and people were getting their squads ready. And Chesterfield were actually looking for a left midfielder. And I was like, left midfield. And the agent said, Peter, just go down and get a game. There'll be other scouts there. And Lee Richardson said, I need a left midfielder. I said, I'll go and play. And I think I scored 2. Did well. And they offered me a contract and I signed it. In the first game, we played away at Chester. And I got put left midfield. I was like, I left Scotland to play centre midfield. And my mate playing centre midfield, Jamie Winter, thinking, oh no, this could be awkward. You know what I mean? I could end up taking his position and in the bench, and he might fall out with me. But eventually, in time, I started to get my position in centre midfield. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it always a 1-year contract? Did you only want a 1-year contract, or was that all that was offered?
I wanted to play higher. I said to the club, listen, obviously, come from Scottish Premier League. I wanted to get League One, and I said, listen, if I don't like it, or if you don't like me, there's a 1-year contract. We can, you know what I mean, and stuff. If I get us promoted or help get promoted, we can do more contract. But I just wanted a 1 year just to see what it was like, see what the standard was like. Because I never knew anything about it. I've never moved away from home at the time, so that was. I think they were happy as well to do a 1 year. So yeah, signed a 1 year contract.
English fans can be a bit sniffy of Scottish football. I think it's probably fair to say. What was the difference like in terms of quality? Was it any different, better or worse?
League Two is difficult, man. It's frantic. You know, coming from Scottish Premier League, where I was playing against like Celtic, Rangers at the time. Then you've got Henrik Larsson, Celtic, Chris Sutton, John Hudson, Alan Thompson playing with Celtic, Rangers. You had Ronald de Boer, stuff like that. People, top quality players, but it was easier to play against them at times than League Two because it's just frantic. You know, if you take a touch at Saltergate on a Tuesday night and it was freezing, somebody just going to come and smash you. You know, so you need to be on your game every day, training, every game. I found it hard. initially to start with, but you find your feet.
Was it easier then when you ended up eventually going up to like League One? Did you find that it starts to get easier the higher up you go? I suppose you get a bit more.
That was because I played at MK Dons, where they were known for playing football and people kind of sit back and defend a little bit, where I could drop deep and get on the ball. But I found it easier in League One, because obviously I went to Oxford after that, and again it was tough. The people no respect. They obviously respect you, but they're not going to give you time on the ball. They're not going to let me stand in the middle of the pitch and pick a pass. So I had to kind of deal with that.
So what were your first impressions of Lee Richardson? Because it's funny when I speak to loads of players now that played with him, and he's a very Marmite, it's fair to say. Some players he really liked him, and some players kind of were a bit destroyed by him in many ways.
No, I quite like. He liked me. I just find he treated me well. You know, he was always honest with me. He let me do what I wanted, not in a bad way, but he gave me the freedom to play. He would ask me things and stuff, and I obviously I know the boys talk about his mentality side of things, and I don't mind all that. You know what I mean? As a coach now, I try and do that with the players and try and tap into the brain a little bit, and I don't mind him that way. The biggest thing I think that he lost Nilly. Scott Sellers came in, lovely guy as well, but I just think losing Nilly, he lost a bit with him. No, I don't mind him. I don't mind him at all. With a few, me, him, and Wince had a few conversations. I remember chatting the door, me and Wince going in and asking why we don't play. He doesn't play us two together in the middle of the pitch. See, we need legs. I said, what do you mean, right? We've got legs. No, I need energy. Because it used to be either me and Derek Leven, together most games, and Wince would be on the bench. I said, come on, we'll go and ask him. We used to chat with each other every day just to annoy him. I fucking have a word. He's like, what's up? He's like, what have you done? I said, nothing. He's used to, honestly, got two Scottish boys, he's thinking, no, what have you done? So we've sat and says, how do you not play us two together? He's like, I need legs. I said, we've got legs. He said, no, I need energy. I think it was me or Wince. He went, I said, Nevin's got legs. I think Wince went, but he gets the ball away all the time. He keeps on giving the ball away. He said, but he gets it back. So that was Lee Richardson saying, gives it away, but he gets it back. And then I said, but we won't give the ball away, I swear. I promise we won't give the ball away. So this is me and Jamie telling the manager to play me and him. Oh, but he must have thought these two are double trouble.
He did say that when we had him on the podcast that you two are maybe some of the more vocal. Or maybe it's just the Scottish way that you were a bit more vocal in.
To be fair, the changing room is brilliant. That makes a good team. The changing room with me and Wince just to carry on every day. Honestly, the things we used to get up to, I couldn't even tell you. Then you had Fletch, then you had Roche, Jack, then you had the wee angry man Wardy, Jamie Ward, just angry every day. I still speak to Wardy like every other day. He's just angry. He's always angry. But no, we had a great changing room, some good times, Christmas parties and stuff, and no, it was a really good changing room. But we used to have meetings every day. A meeting for a meeting.
Was that going to Sheffield to train and then coming back for the meeting back to Chesterfield?
We used to go to Sheffield and then we come back for a meeting. He's like, how do you find training? How are you feeling? You could have done that. You could have done that in Sheffield. I don't know what it was. It was just a discipline thing, or he wanted to feel power. I don't know. But some of the boys didn't like him. I didn't mind him. To be fair, he's on LinkedIn, and I gave him a message saying recently, I said, all right, Gaffer, hope you're well. I'm great to see you at Liverpool, I think is, I don't know, West Ham.
Liverpool, I think now, yeah.
Yeah, Liverpool, I said, great to see you doing well and that. He never get back to me, so obviously didn't like me.
Well, maybe I'll try him one day, see if I can get on. I get like a jury of players that like him and the players that don't, and see if we can have some kind of, I don't know.
I remember phoning him. Well, he phoned me because he offered me a new contract, didn't he? Because Brighton offered, was it in January?
125 grand, was it? Something like that, I think.
I don't know what the final offer was. I think it started like 80, went up to 120, 130. I can't remember. And he called me and said, what do you want to do? I said, well, it's up to you. I said, I'm happy here, but they're offering me this amount of money, 3-year contract. I says, I'm up in 6 months. You've got me for free. You can make 125 grand. And to be fair, he went, promotion is more important to me than losing my captain for 125 grand. So I was like, fair enough. That's fine by me. I wasn't. I want to move. I'm not training. Nah, I'd never do that. Do you know what I mean? I'm professional, and I liked his words to me. He valued me more than the money. Do you know what I mean? He wanted to keep me as his captain and try and get promotion. And that was me. I was focused on trying to get that.
Yeah, I suppose it was a really important time for him as well as a manager, wasn't it? Because that was his second season as manager, I think. And
I see more of it now as a coach now. You understand, like my manager at Kilmarnock, you see things differently now. Like, he annoys me, but you understand it more now as a coach. And we lost our best player 3 weeks ago to another team. And I'm thinking, gutted, do you know what I mean? A top goal scorer. And I see why he done everything to try and keep me. But no, as I said, I have no problems with him.
Yeah.
Ball away by the Lincoln defence. Hartley. Little ball through from Leven. And Peter Leven! Chesterfield restore their lead. Their 2-goal lead. Good combination between Leicester and Leven. And Peter Leven scored his 6th goal of the season.
And because I mean the team was really cool that time. Everyone looks back fondly on those years, I think, even though we were kind of just missing out on playoffs and things around that time. Because there were some proper characters, weren't there? Like up front, you had that strike force of Fletcher, Leicester, and Ward.
Yeah, then you had Rooney come in as well.
Rooney, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I'd need to watch back the season again and just see where did we go wrong. Maybe, I don't know, midfielders never chipped in more goals. We leaked. I remember missing a penalty against Peterborough last minute. That still sticks in my mind. Joe Lewis saved it. And I went that side and I never go that side. Still plays in my head. Downsy, I remember Downsy being captain and struggling a little bit. And then I got the armband, which was a wee bit uncomfortable because taking the armband off him and giving it me. But I remember having a conversation with Downsy saying, listen, you're still captain. This obviously means a lot, but don't worry about this. I'm just wearing it for you, just kind of thing just now. Do you know what I mean? Just keep being vocal and being a big part of the changing room. I don't know where it went wrong. Honestly, I don't know where it went wrong because we had a good squad. I remember we played MK Dons live on Sky. Was it live on Sky? That was at home. Did we lose that one? Then we beat them away. We destroyed them at MK 2-1. So we mixed it with the best of them.
Yeah, because if I remember right, that season it wasn't the games against the top teams that we
the lesser teams, yeah.
Yeah, which I suppose happens quite a lot with teams, doesn't it? Why does that happen?
I don't know. Maybe it still happens now, and I go crazy at my team. So I don't know why. But just try and play as if it's a World Cup final every game, because you never know. You're one bad injury away from retiring, or 1 year out, 2 year out. You just never know. You've got to train, play as maximum every day. Yeah.
And what was it like playing at Saltergate? Because obviously everyone really loves Saltergate, but we're at the new stadium now. But it was an old ground. But it had a lot of character, didn't it?
I loved it. And obviously I played back at the new. I've played the new one now when I was at Oxford, and I prefer Saltergate. I just love the character, and the housing scheme. You know, the little coffee shop at the bottom of the road.
Yeah, Linda's sandwich shop. That's always a question. What you had from Linda's sandwich shop?
Linda's, that was an omelette baguette, I think, like that every day, loaded with ketchup. I just loved everything about it. We used to park in the little school around the back and walk round. Yes, it was old, but it had a character. You know what I mean? It history, and the cop. And I remember one game. Was it Grimsby we were playing? And there's just a riot in the terrace.
Usually when we play Grimsby, that happens.
The fans were just fighting, and I was thinking, what's going on here? But it just had that. I mean, that feeling, and I liked it. I liked that a lot.
What did you do then when you played for Chesterfield? Did you just come down and rent somewhere in the town or something?
Yeah, we lived in Tapton Lock.
Oh, okay.
Behind I don't know if the Tesco's still there. The big Tesco at the roundabout. We lived there. Me, Jamie Winter, Jamie Ward, Fletch, Jamie Jackson. We all lived in there, and that was not good apartments, cheap for where I came from. You know, in Glasgow it was a little bit more expensive, but honestly, loved my time there. Great place, great little town, everything about it. I loved it, mate.
Yeah. And did that? So obviously you were coming to give it a try in England and coming to Chesterfield to do that. Did it? I imagine that kept the fire burning in terms of wanting to do more in England.
Oh, of course. You want to just kick on. You know what I mean? You want to either take Chesterfield up division or you do well yourself and get a move. That was the idea of getting Chesterfield up into League One. We had the players to do it, and it's just disappointing we never got there. But as I said, mate, I always wanted to try it, and obviously had a good 5-6 years after that playing in England.
Yeah, and you chipped in with a few goals that season. I think you got
6 maybe.
5, 6, yeah, that season.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of them?
Yeah.
Do you remember any of them?
Oh, of course. I remember the right footer away to Wrexham.
That was your first, I think, wasn't it? 4-0 win at Wrexham, yeah.
So Jamie's on the bench, once on the bench, and I'm trying to concentrate. And Rangers are playing Lyon in the Champions League that night. It's a Tuesday night. And he's warming up. And I think I'm running away to take a call, and he's gone, Rangers are 1-1 now. I'm like, shut up, once I'm trying to concentrate in the game. And then I think I went to another corner, and he's gone, 2-0. Because we were 1 at Wrexham at the time, 3-0. I'm going, right, okay, who scored? You know what I mean? So he's telling me the Rangers scored while we were playing at Wrexham. But I remember that goal. That was a good goal, right foot. I remember I chipped the keeper, keep my chest, I chipped the keeper. I scored the free kick away to Rochdale in the last minute. Well, no, sorry. I hit the wall, came back, and I shot underneath the wall.
There was a goal against Lincoln, 1-4-0, home against Lincoln. I think he scored there as well.
I can't remember that one.
Yeah, it's funny that looking back at that season because, yeah, like you say, there's a lot of players that stuck around for a few years afterwards, and some that moved on. And there was some really interesting players. Like we had Felix Bastians that season.
Yeah, the German boy. Yeah.
And which obviously I suppose he came in to fill the left hand side. Didn't he?
I was originally I was getting in the middle, but as a mate, it probably killed my mate Jamie because obviously I moved into the middle and he's went to the bench. But Jamie was a good player, technically super. I don't know why he never played. He could have played the 3 in midfield. Me once and Nev, I don't know. But as I said, mate, I actually wanted to stay. That's the thing. Like MK Dons offered me a contract, which wasn't a lot more than I was on at Chesterfield, and Chesterfield upped it. And I said, listen, just match what MK were on. I think it was £100 difference a week. He's like, I can't do it. I was like, but seeing MK Stadium, Paul Ince was the manager. I just thought they were a club. I know obviously people don't like the club for what they stand for and stuff, but I just loved the way they played football and stuff. But I know I didn't want to leave Chesterfield because my mate was there. I loved it. I loved the place. I loved the fans. It was great at the time, but I just thought a little bit more stadium and ambition. They sold me Ince on the phone. Never met him. I signed, and I signed. I moved to MK. I signed, and he wasn't there. He was on holiday. And then when I arrived at pre-season, he was gone. He'd gone to Blackburn, and then Di Matteo came in. So I never actually met him until the second time he came back.
It would have been really interesting seeing you in a John Sheridan team. Because obviously, after Lee Richardson, John Sheridan came in, and a lot more football was played, and obviously it ended up with a title win in the first season in the new stadium. It would have been really interesting seeing you in that team because he played a lot of good football, John Sheridan.
I remember watching it because obviously I always look at all clubs and watching the way they played, and it was very good. And I did think myself I would fit nicely in that team. But also MK, we played decent football, you know. But no, mate, I did want to stay. It was love my time there. Just the training facilities weren't great. I don't know if they've changed now. Don't know where they are now.
They're better now, but I think they could still get better.
Yeah, that was the thing with MK. They had a decent training facility. Stadium was fantastic. And the brand of football they played was decent, to be fair.
Yeah.
And obviously, I played against them that season, and the way they played was decent.
And like you mentioned on the whole thing with MK, that a lot of fans are a bit about MK, but I mean, did that ever come into your thinking before signing for them or not?
Nah, not really. I never really took much into the history. Well, obviously the Wimbledon thing, and then obviously Pete Winkleman moved them. But no, I just seen the stadium and the way they wanted to play football. I'm going to jump forward, but it was the same as when I was at left MK. Millwall in the Championship wanted to sign me, and I went to League Two because Kenny Jackett. I know Kenny Jackett and doesn't play that football. Yeah, I could have went there and a lot more money, but I went to League Two because Chris Wilder told me he wanted to play football and play for the back, and I just wanted to enjoy football. You know what I mean? That was me, and it was the same at MK. I just wanted to play a brand of football. I played against them. Keith Andrews, Navarro, Wolverham, Dyer on the wing, Jamal Johnson, and they played football. And I was like, wow, this team can play. I was like, I want to be a part of that kind of thing. But no.
Are managers good at telling the truth when they're trying to get you to sign for them? I'm just wondering if you're like saying, you say, I want to come to a football team that plays football, and they're going, yep, we're definitely going to do that. And you...
So I remember a time at Oxford. I can't remember what game it was. I'm coming short to get the ball, and I kick along, and I'm thinking, I've left MK. I want to play football. You know, at MK we played no matter what. I meant me just been crazy sometimes. Take my boots off, threw him at half time. He's like, what are you doing? She says, I'm not playing anymore. He says, how? I says, you're just missing me out. There's no point in me playing midfield. You're just going to kick the ball long. I'm coming short. You kick it 80 yards long, and then I've got a 70 yards run to try and get second balls. What's the point in me playing? He's like, no, I can't do that. I says, right, okay. But sometimes I just go crazy. I just wanted to play and I just wanted the ball to be mine. You know, just play and don't care if you lose the ball. Just play. But yeah. He wanted to play when we were winning, thing for me.
Yeah. It's really interesting as well, because sometimes you do get teams, like during Chesterfield's barren patch of the last few years when we've been doing pretty bad, you sometimes notice there's midfielders that don't really want the ball that much. They're quite happy for it to pass them by, whereas obviously you're a completely different mentality and you just want to be on it all the time. And when you usually have a successful team, you usually have midfielders, don't you, that want to be on the ball.
But even now, when I tell my players, if you give the ball away, I don't care. Just don't hide. Take part in the game. Just take the ball, take it under pressure, and just never hide. You know what I mean? If you want to play centre midfield, you can't hide.
Yeah.
You're the pivot for everybody. You know, you're the centre of attention for everybody. You can't hide. So that was my thing. I just always wanted the ball.
And when you went to MK, so it's like 2008, wasn't it? And you were there for a good 3 seasons there, weren't you? Played over 100 games.
Yeah.
You got like, I was looking, you got League One Sports Writer of the Player of the Year, and the transition League Two to League One was pretty good for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I found it easy. As I said, there was more time on the ball. As I said, it helped being in a footballing team where most teams would sit back, where I could drop deep, get on the ball, make things happen. But that first season, I just thought, goals, I need to get double figures. And I got 10, 11 that first season. And then I was linked to Nottingham Forest for $1 million. Then they gave me a new contract at MK, because I only signed a year at MK. I can't remember the money wasn't great. I said, listen, just give me a year and I'll prove you wrong. Not prove you wrong, I'll prove you that I'm worth kind of more and show you what. Because when I first came in, I was on the bench. The first game away to Leicester, because Leicester in League One, it's crazy how times.
I know.
So we're away to Leicester in the first game. I was on the bench. I'm thinking, I'm not having this. And I went on for 20 minutes, and I was decent, to be fair. The Diagonals getting on the ball, playing, and after that, they sold Keith Andrews to Blackburn, and that was me. I was in the team. Loved it under Di Matteo. Again, play football. Him and Eddie Newton. He used to always say to me, Peter, why are you so angry? Smile, relax, and play. So I was like, right, okay, Robbie. All right, Robbie. So no, I loved it. Getting forward, getting on the ball, playing. Good big pitch, great stadium. I think I scored 10, 11 goals and had a good season, that one.
Yeah. And are those the type of managers you've picked things up from then? People like Di Matteo, now you can coach him.
Yeah, from even very younger, from the Dutch at Rangers. Because when I was younger at Dutch at Rangers with the Dutch influence, Dick Advocaat, they brought in academy coaching from Holland, so everything was drilled into me from a young age. The Dutch way. Obviously Jim Jeffries again, Scottish coach, but a little bit from him. Rico, yeah, the mentality side of things and the psychology side of things. Di Matteo, even Ince a little bit though. Just taking that bits from everybody, and then obviously my own ideas and beliefs how I want my teams to play. Yeah.
So after MK, you went to Oxford, and like you said, so you turned down Millwall to go to Oxford, did you?
Oh, agents again, honestly, we need them, but they drive me crazy, man. Just boom, 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 boom. MK offered me a new deal. Was happy there, settled, about to have my first daughter. Then agents in my ear, Crystal Palace, boom, boom, boom. I said, right, we're going to meet some. Met Kenny Jackett outside London in a hotel. I said, right, Levs, love you, love the way you play, but we need to work hard with Millwall, and we're in the gym all the time, and I'm fine, but I played against these teams that season where we dominated the ball and they sat back, and I'm thinking, right, are you changing your way you want to play? Or are you just going to make me sit in there and be a dog? And that's not me, you know what I mean? So I had to think about it. And then I met Chris Wilder, went to the training facilities at Oxford. Oxford, again, not far from Milton Keynes. And I chose Oxford. Some people will think, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I just want to play football. He kind of sold me what the vision of the club. They'd signed Michael Duberry, John Paul Pittman that I played against, Paul McLaren, ex-midfielder as well, like higher level. I thought, no, I'll have a bit of that. And I signed for them for 2 years, I think it was.
Yeah. And so this is like 2011 to 13. So that's when Chesterfield had won the league and then got relegated. 2 seasons running. And you played like, what, about 60 odd games. Is that when, because I know you retired eventually because of your knee, didn't you? But had that kind of been a hangover right from all throughout your career, really?
Not as much. MK, it was okay. The odd day I would miss. As soon as I went to Oxford, I'll never forget, it was away at Accrington Stanley. And the pitch was heavy, really heavy. And I can't wear metal studs. I don't know if it's in here or when I put them on, I just feel like I want to kick people and forget about how to play football. You know, I just always had rubbers on, and I just, when I felt my foot going into like a mud, and I just felt like a click. And ever since then, I think I was halfway through the season, I had problems all the way through for the year and a half. And it was a nightmare for me. There was games before games, like on the match day, an hour before the game, the doctor would be draining my knee, he'd be squeezing the fluid out, I'd be taking tablets. I took that many tablets, like my stomach cramped up, and I was icing on the way to games on the bus, putting ice in my knee to try and get the swelling down. I remember we were playing Port Vale live on Sky Monday, and I'm on the bus, and I've got the game ready machine, the ice machine on the bus, trying to get the swelling down just even a little bit so I could play. Because when the knee's full of fluid, it restricts your movement. And I'm not the quickest to play anyway. So, but there was times like the manager's like, I need you. That's why I need you to play. I said, right, inject me. Just inject me and I'll play. As long as you get the swelling down, I can deal with the pain. Just give me a painkiller, injection, I'll play. The fans don't realise that, you know what I mean? Or you've had a bad game, or Leven was shit today. I'm only playing 30% fit, you know? And then it affected my training because I couldn't train. In the last season, I'd missed two pre-seasons with Oxford because I had to get clean-ups in my knee, which killed me because I had a pre-season. So I'm playing catch-up the whole season. But during the season, I'd play on a Saturday and I'd rest all week. I'd be sitting on an ice machine all week, take it home with me, and then try and play on a Saturday again without even training. I'm thinking, what am I doing? I was living on this ice machine 24 hours a day. And I got to a stage, obviously, I think, Peter, your knee's struggling. We're not going off your contract. So, fair enough. I'm going to prove you wrong, kind of thing. Attitude, me, Scottish, like ego, like, how dare you? Do you know what I mean? Let me go. Nobody's ever let me go. Left. Where did I go? I went to America to see if the heat would help my knee, the sun, and see if that would help my knee, help the joints and stuff. Nah, again, blew up like a balloon. Went to Iceland to see if the cold would help my knee. Just trying everything. Again, went up like a balloon. I thought, this is me. And it was hard because most people retire when they feel like I've had enough. I didn't want to retire. You know what I mean? And it was hard at the time, and it's difficult being a football player. And I just started my B license, and then no phone calls, nobody wants you, nobody asks how you are. It's difficult here. It was a tough 2 years after quitting football. Yeah, not gonna lie.
We've had so many players that I've spoken to, and the majority, I'd say, have ended up with bad knees or shoulders or backs, or it's kind of really commonplace, isn't it? But a lot of players don't really get to retire how they want to retire, do they? It's something that happens.
But if you ask me again, would I do it again? 100%.
Yeah. Which is the same for everyone I speak to as well. They always say, yeah, completely do it.
It's the best feeling in the world playing football. Stepping on a pitch after the game, 3 points, scoring a goal. Nothing can compare. It's unbelievable. Celebrate with the fans, and it's the best feeling in the world, mate.
What's it like scoring from the halfway line, like you did when you were at Oxford?
I tried it quite a lot in my career. I scored one, no from halfway line, Chesterfield, maybe like 40 yards out to keep it, and I loved them. People probably say it's my best goal, but I scored one with my right foot at Oxford when I chipped the goalkeeper, and I liked that better. That was nice. To be fair, I gave the goal away 5 minutes before. I never matched my runner, and the captain, Jake, shouted at me, "Levs, it's your fault, you never matched your runner." I went, no, it's not my fault. Then when I scored, I was like, "Sorry, Jake, yeah, it was my fault." So I took responsibility when I scored to make it 2-1. But that was a nice goal, mate. I never won played the goal of the year, though. I came second.
Where did they score from?
Peter Whittingham. God rest his soul. Scored an unbelievable goal. Touched, thigh, volley, top corner. So, no, he won it.
Yeah, he did score some incredible goals, didn't he?
Yeah.
You did play for Jarrow for a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, because I moved up to Newcastle, and the local paper done a little article on me. What was it? I can't remember how it started. I think I was running in my local pitch in Newcastle, and there was a game. I said, "Oh, can I join in, boys?" Can I join in? I had a bother. Joined in. She said, "Listen, you're not bad." I said, "Oh, thanks." He says, "Hey, we've got a local team, Jarrow, if you want to come and play." It's like, I said, "I can come and play." So I didn't realise, like, Jarrow, like, Northern Premier League, good standard.
Yeah.
Wow, because these players don't want to go full time. So they'll go part time and they don't want to travel. If they've got a division, they'll travel further.
Mm-hmm.
So the Northern Premier League just stay in the kind of northeast region. Some good players. And I was like, so I kind of played there for a bit, coached for a bit. There was quite a good bit of coverage up there. And then a coach from Middlesbrough called me saying, "Oh, Peter, I heard you're in the northeast. You're doing your licenses. Why don't you come in and coach in an academy at Middlesbrough?" So that kind of got the ball rolling for my coaching career, which at Middlesbrough, what an academy. So I learned so much there. I was only there for a year. Learned so much. Didn't want to leave, but the chance to go to be assistant manager in the Scottish Premier League at 29. Spoke to the academy manager, Dave Parnaby, who was brilliant. He says, "Peter," because I was only part-time at Middlesbrough. He says, "Peter, you can't turn that down. We want to keep you here, but you can't turn that down to be the experience you can get doing that." So that's where I ended up in the coaching career that way.
How did you end up getting that role then, the assistant manager role?
The manager was Gary Locke, who I played with at Kilmarnock. And obviously my ties at the club, being there for 3 years as a player. Always spoke to Gary, and he's like, "Peter, would you fancy coming up being one of my assistants? I said, no problem. At 29, I couldn't turn that down, you know.
Yeah. And then you've ended up having a bit of a bonkers coaching career after that. It's unconventional, it's fair to say. So you ended up then as assistant head coach at Dynamo Brest, so Belarus.
I wanted to try abroad. Like, as a player, I wanted to try England. I just see like all these English Premier League managers being foreign. Like, well, what are they doing in these countries that we need to hire them in our country, kind of thing?
Yeah.
So I want to go abroad and learn. I spoke to the wife. I said, listen, I want to do it. I want to go and learn different culture, different language, test myself. Again, if it doesn't work, I come back. So Christian Smith, good friend of mine, works with someone in Ukraine, Yuri, and he came back with the Dynamo Brest. But they'd already got the first team squad staff in place because the season had already started. He'd go over and run the academy and be second, the B team manager. And they said within a year, you go to the first team. So within 2 months, they moved me up. They sacked the manager, the assistant moved me up to assistant in the first team. And we finished the season, I think we finished like 5th. And what I've seen in the last 7 games, that we had a right chance for the following season. If we just had a good pre-season, me and Marcel got the right players in, and we worked on them every day. We went to like Dubai for pre-season 2 weeks, Turkey for 2 weeks, and Spain for 2 weeks. I'm thinking, this is unbelievable, this. But the main team in Belarus was Bate Borisov, who everybody that played in UEFA Cup, Champions League against Arsenal and Chelsea and done all right. So they've won 13 years in a row. And the club I was at, never even been first, second, or third in the table. So we put a lot of work in, and it paid off. We lost 1 game in the whole season and became champions.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's amazing, really. Was it like the language barrier and stuff like that? Did you kind of find ways to work around it? I suppose
I was a full-time translator. Some of the boys at the time could speak English. But no, just go for the translator. It's a difficult language, but as I said, I took that risk to go abroad, won the league, won 2 cups, coached in the UEFA Cup, qualified for the Champions League. So it was a gamble that it worked at the time, you know. But no, I enjoyed it. Yeah, the language is difficult, but I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Шотландский специалист Питер Левен вошел в тренерский состав Академии «Динамо Брест». С 98 по 4 год выступал за Рейнджерс, где вместе с ним тренировались такие игроки, как Пол Гаскайн, Брайан Лаудруп, Микель Артета, Дженнаро Гаттузо, Клаудио Каниджа и другие. В Джерс Питер работал под руководством Уолтера Смита и Дика Адвоката. В 2002 году он получил серьезную травму колена, из-за которой лечился на протяжении 2 лет. С 4 по 7 играл в шотландском Kilmarnocке, вызывался в молодежную сборную страны, после чего переехал в Англию и подписал контракт с Честерфилдом.
And then did you follow the coach, the kind of manager when you went to Orenburg?
Yes, so we left Dynamo Brest. I won't get into the politics of it. Some of the owners over here are a little bit crazy. So we left there. We left with 3 medals in 18 months, you know. Left with UEFA Cup experience, qualified Champions League, lost 1 game in all competitions in 1 year, so it was good. And we sat down and said, listen, where do you want to go? He said, I don't know. We'll just wait and see what happens. Had a few offers. And then this Orenburg came up. He said, Peter, what do you fancy Orenburg? And I'm like, where?
Well, not even what country, what area of the country is it in, but what country.
Germany or Poland or Czech or... Yeah, it's like, right, okay. I said no, to be fair, I said no to start with. He came in September. He's calling me September, October, November. I'm like, nah, I'm not going. I said, it's too far away. And then nothing came up for me back home. I was like, right, I'm coming. He's like, right, good. So I came in December. I think we were 3rd at the time. And then again, we went to Turkey for 6 weeks, like a winter camp, because ridiculously in the winter here. When I first arrived here, it was -33. On it, Dave, I couldn't believe my eyelashes were freezing up. Swear to God, I'm like, this is unbelievable, this cold. So we went to Turkey for 6 weeks camp, and we just drilled in what we wanted, and we went on a run, and we finished second, and we got automatic promotion. But we never got automatic promotion. We stayed in the same league.
How's that work?
They said our stadium wasn't big enough. Again, I don't want to get into politics. But our stadium's lovely. It's like Chesterfield Stadium, small, compact. It's a new stadium, but I think our stadium only holds 8,000, and they said, it needs to hold 10,000. So they never put us up. So we're going to they're rebuilding the stadium, and we're going to have to do it again this season.
And it's going all right so far.
Yeah, we're second. Yeah, we're doing all right. The last 3 games we've not played well. For me, we've not played with the ball enough. We've won 1-0, 1-0, or 1-0. I can't remember what it was. Done all right, but not played well enough. The other day we played really well. We lost 3-0. So that just sums up football for me.
Football.
Yeah, some dodgy decisions by the referee, but I'll not go into that either.
So is the style of football that much different? Because obviously in English football, you get these spells of formations, don't you? That certain managers will come in and be successful with something. So everyone's playing 4-4-2, and then everyone's playing 3 at the back now. And no doubt it will change again in a few years. Does that travel right around the world, or is the? Yeah.
There's a team here called Alania Vladikavkaz, and I call it kamikaze football. Honestly, so they play 4 at the back, but the full backs will go as high as they can. 2 centre backs will split, and the goalkeeper comes out like a centre back. And I don't mean just at 18-yard box. He comes out to play. And when they defend, they leave 3 up the pitch. They just leave 3 up the pitch. They do not come back. And it works sometimes, but then other times they get killed. Kamikaze football, but it's quite interesting, some of the things that I've seen. But no, some of the teams here, people think, Russian second league, but it's not a bad standard, to be fair. We're only allowed 4 foreigners in our squad, which limits you, but you must, which I quite like, you must have 2 under-21s in the starting team, which is good to develop players, which is a quite good concept. But no, I'm enjoying it, mate. Challenge has been difficult, being away from home, family and friends. But this is just my path right now, mate. Hopefully it leads me back home or in Europe, where I want to be a manager one day and try and be successful.
Do you have a long-term plan, or is it just kind of see where the wind takes you?
No, I want to go to the top, mate. I'm just driven, mate. I want to be. That's why I came abroad. I want to coach in the Champions League. I want to be manager in Champions League level. If I don't get there, but I'm going to try. You know what I mean? I could have easily sat in Newcastle, Scotland, and went under 18s academy, or just be comfortable. And I need pressure. I need to play for 3 points. I need to a place where I don't speak the language. I need to learn. You know what I mean? I need to learn fast, and that's just me, mate. I just need to live on the edge.
Yeah. Have you started to get kind of people interested over in the UK again now? Are you a bit, do you get back on the radar by going abroad, or do you?
No, I think it's probably been the opposite way. At the start, when I won in Belarus, people will phone me up, but people kind of start to forget about you. And I'm not the person to put myself out there. I don't go on social media. What a result this week, and that's not me. People tell me, Peter, you need to put yourself out there. You need to start networking. I'm doing everything I can. You know what I mean? Why should I? Is it just lazy on their part to Google where I am or pick up the phone? How are you getting on? Do you know what I mean? Or when I send my CV into clubs, like, did they read it properly? You know what I mean? I'm only 37. I've won in Belarus. I've won in Russia. I've been assistant manager when I was 29 at Kilmarnock. I've had a decent football career. Mm-hmm. Is it just lazy, or is it go for the safe option, or am I a risk? I don't know. You know what I mean? But I'll just keep working hard, mate, and just keep learning, and hopefully one day I can get there.
Yeah, great. It's really interesting. I've become like a kind of my Russian team of choice now. Check on the results every now and then, see how it's going.
I'm enjoying it, mate. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and to take it back to back to Chesterfield. It was funny talking to Jamie Winter when he was talking about how you had the trip to Rangers.
Oh, for the Old Firm game?
With a few of the players.
Yeah, because as you said earlier, people can have Scottish football, and you just look at players that come up to Scotland recently. Like Joey Barton came up, struggled. Roy Keane came up and struggled when he played. The big centre back at Brighton, what's his name? Came to Celtic last season on loan, struggled. A few players come up and struggle and find it tough because it's a tempo to play at, And I said to him, listen, come and watch a Rangers Celtic game and see the atmosphere and see the passion and see what it's like. And we took him up. I think it was me, Wince, Phil Pickin, Lowry, and Fletch. So I jumped in the car and we drove up, and I think it was Tuesday night again. And they just, Gaffer, is there any chance we can have like Wednesday, and can you put back Wednesday off? I think they had Wednesday off anyway, yeah. So I think we asked them to put training Tuesday earlier in the morning, so we could have training, drive up, and then I said to him, I think I asked him, can we put training on the Thursday in the afternoon? I think please, and he's like, right, okay.
Team building.
Yeah. Team building, 5 players. So we drove up, loved it. I think Rangers won, to be fair. But then on the way back, it was snowing. It was horrendous. I think I was coming across. No, the A69. What's the one after that? Through the mountains, over the hills.
Yeah, like Snake Pass and.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
They're all sleeping, and I've got the window wipers on, and the snow, and I'm going 20 mile an hour. I'm thinking, oh my god, what a nightmare this was! What a nightmare. So I just turned the radio up and put the heating on, just to annoy them, keep them awake. Yeah. But no, it was a good trip, to be fair. I think they loved it, to be fair. Big Fletch is doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah, he seems to be doing great. Yeah, he's another one I need to get on sometime. And I was talking to a fan the other day, something to kind of finish off. But I was talking to a fan, and he said that it seems like there's a lot of players that seem to have a fondness for Chesterfield, even though they don't really play for them. They might not have only played for a season or so.
Yeah,
it seems to be a common thing that ex-Chesterfield players have a fondness, and we were just discussing whether that's a thing that happens everywhere, or whether there's something about Chesterfield that they thought that players connect with somehow.
I've liked all my clubs that I've been at, and I've all got good memories. I think it depends on the individual. If he had a good time there, if he settled there, I loved it because it was my first club in England. I'll always be like so thankful the club gave me the opportunity. They gave me the armband, I love the fans, mate. Home and away, man. Honestly, brilliant. Met some good people, Big Tank, good friend that I still speak to now and again. My best mate was there once. Good group of people. I loved the town. I loved the little town. We used to go to the little Chinese restaurant. Once I was at the Chinese restaurant one. I just loved it. Even Santi, Santi owns VK.
Yeah.
Santi, still speak to Santi. I met him in Mallorca a few years ago, bumped into him. But no, I love the place, mate. Great memories. I said to you once, we need to go back for like a weekend one time. Get everybody back and have a good night.